Okay, hello, my name is Divy. I am a senior at Allenhurst, and I have been taking SIRS for 2 years now. This is my third year. And so my project I'm doing this year is trying to mutate viruses in order to treat bacterial infections that people get every day around the world. And so there are 3 goals for this presentation. One is why SIRS, why should you choose this course? Another one is just explaining my project, so why do viruses replicate and how can we mutate them? And the third one is what's the point of mutating viruses? Why do we want to do this? And right here is an example of a virus. It's called a bacteriophage, and all it does is it kills bacteria. And so why did I choose to take SIRS? So actually, what we learn in science classes at Niles North and at other schools around the country is just textbook. We always learn things that, just information. We never have really hands-on experience except labs, and labs are still guided. We still have a set goal for those labs, but in SIRS, you really don't have a set goal. You make your own goal that the teacher doesn't set for you. And so the first project I did my sophomore year was using microbial fuel cells, which basically generated electricity from soil. And I used this because I wanted to find a way to have renewable energy and increase their efficiencies. So I put metals in the soil, and I discovered that using those heavy metals, I was able to increase the efficiency of these electricity producing soil cells. And then last year I used these guys, which are tardigrades, and basically they are able to survive a huge amount of natural disasters, high temperatures, low temperatures, and I basically used them and I tested the magnetic field around them in order to see how humanity could use them as a method of terraformation or changing other planets in order to make them more like Earth. And so this year I'm doing the mutation of viruses, and here's just a quick explanation on how these viruses reproduce. So right here you can just see a picture of these viruses latching onto a cell, these bacteriophages. And here, the first step is basically the DNA inside the virus gets shot down into the bacteria. And you can imagine a virus as kind of like a homing missile, right? Because it only targets one species of bacteria. So if a virus sees a human cell, but it targets a bacteria, it will only kill the bacteria. It won't kill human cells. And so here are the steps of the virus. This is the first one we just saw, where the virus latches onto the cell, shoots its DNA into the cell, and then after that, that DNA basically hijacks the cell into forcing the cell to make more of that virus, rather than replicating the cell itself. And so it hijacks the cell into making more viruses, and then once the cell is full of viruses, then the viruses all break out, which kills the cell, and all of these guys go in all different directions to kill more of the cells. And so how will I mutate the virus? This is a process called serial passage, which was used by Kanta Subaro in her experiment with mice. So basically what serial passage is pretty simple. It's just taking a virus, putting it into an animal or a bacteria. And so what she did was she put the virus into a mouse, let it replicate, and it didn't kill the mouse, it didn't even make it sick. But then she took the virus out and put it into a healthy mouse. And after about 15 iterations of this, the resulting virus that she extracted from the mouse was able to kill the mice instantly. And basically that's what I want to do with viruses and bacteria. And I will be using these petri dishes for the bacteria. So I will be using the viruses on the bacteria rather than viruses on mice, like what she did. And so by doing this, I will be able to make the virus more able to kill the bacteria than it was before, like how this virus was able to kill more mice than it was able to before the mutations. And so how does this work? You can also imagine this virus versus bacteria thing as a war. Okay, so here are the bacteria, and they're basically fighting the viruses. And what these mutations are doing is they are allowing the viruses to gain new weapons. like in any war, each side wants to get new weapons, better weapons to kill the other side. So the bacteria become more resistant to the viruses, which basically is their way of creating new defenses or new weapons. And then in response to that, the viruses make more weapons and they mutate in order to kill the bacteria. And this goes back and forth. And so why is this important? So these days we always use antibiotics. Like even people use antibiotics for just common colds. And the problem with this is these antibiotics, they both kill bad bacteria in your body, but they also kill the beneficial bacteria. And in addition to this, the antibiotics also allow the bacteria that are resistant to reproduce. Then this reproduction allows that resistant bacteria to replicate so much that it becomes what is called a superbug. And superbugs are immune to a bunch of different antibiotics, a bunch of different medicinal practices. And there are some superbugs out there that can even survive alcohol, which basically kills like every bacteria, every normal bacteria. And so there's no really way to fight against these superbugs right now using antibiotics. And in the future, by 2050, these superbugs are projected to kill about 10 million people, which is more than cancer. And this is a huge problem, but by using viruses, these viruses would be able to attack these superbugs because they have the weapons to kill these super resistant bacteria. And to do this, we can basically inject these viruses into our own body. Since they're like the homing missiles, they'll only attack bacteria and they won't attack our cells. And so this will be able to prevent this danger of superbugs becoming a worldwide unstoppable killing force.